A hero is only as good as his villain. This phrase reigns true across every story. Sherlock and Moriarty, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, Batman and the Joker. Now imagine a world, a universe, or even multiverse, nearly overpopulated with innumerable heroes, mutants, mages, gods, and monsters. What kind of villain could contend with so many forces of good? What one being could be worthy of such foes? One word etched on page after page from writer to writer, decade after decade, condemning all who oppose him to certain destruction or death. Doom. But how could this be? How could one man threaten the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and the Avengers all at once? And does a deeper power lie behind the eyes of the man in the metal mask? What happens when his purview extends beyond the border of his world of marvels? It just might be possible that every crusader, warrior, beloved by all, have reason to kneel before Doom. To lay a baseline for this, however, welcome Chuck, who will establish how powerful Victor Von Doom has become within his own reality, how his arsenal of weapons, magic, and even martial arts skills has already earned him his place as perhaps Marvel's #1 threat.
Dr. Doom has one of the most remarkable minds out there in Marvel, and that is for good reason, as his gadgets and gear have proven to be one of the most versatile out there. He has power-draining capabilities potent enough to absorb energy from the Silver Surfer, Watchers, beings comparable in scope to Skyfathers like Odin, Galactus, and even the Beyonder after he analyzes energies through his armor. He has insane force fields capable of withstanding an assault from mad Celestials for almost half an hour, with these Celestials being superior to standard Celestials that can fight on infinite planes of reality, and in which even the weakest ones are stronger than Allfather Odin with a destroyer armor. Yet Odin in base has showcased power to shake 9 universes casually before. His armor is durable enough to withstand a blast from Infinity Gauntlet Thanos, he can redirect attacks, disrupt someone's mind, can time travel, and he's even showcased the capability to temporarily remove someone's mutation, like when he did it to the Thing. He's even crafted a biomechanical virus, created a mechanism that manipulates nuclear energy to affect how gravity affects someone, and he even found a way to shut down Scarlet Witch's powers. He even has holograms that can even fool beings as powerful as Phoenix Rachel Summers, making her think that she's defeated him in an endless loop. And he's also been able to counter Magneto's metal crushing capabilities. Point is, Doom is ready for virtually any situation in any opponent, and he's even found ways to amplify his technology with magic as well, as he has done so with his armor. Speaking of magic, Dr. Doom is widely renowned as being one of the most potent sorcerers out there, second probably only to Doctor Strange. But he has trained under him and even knows spells that even Strange doesn't know about or that he wouldn't dare use due to their dark properties. From the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, to healing magic, to protective hexes and shields, summoning an army of mindless ones, and absorbing the magic properties of his opponents, Doom has done it all. Victor has showcased such mastery over the mystic arts that even abstract level beings like the Marquis of Death, who can control M-bodies or avatars of eternity, could not tell that his apprentice was doomed the entire time. He even has mind attacks which are potent enough to heavily affect the Sentry, although this was mostly because his mind was unstable at the time. With his magic, he has even been able to counter telepathic attacks from Red Skull with the power of Professor Xavier, who has battled Phoenix Jean Grey on infinite levels of reality simultaneously. To top it all off, he's been able to fight alongside Scarlet Witch to curb Chthon, the one behind the Red Avenger's power, and an elder god that resides in a time beyond time and a place beyond places. And alongside Doctor Strange, he could even battle Mephisto, another Hell Lord who can destroy most of reality if he clashed with beings like Galactus or Hela, who curiously enough, Doom has been able to defeat as well, even though these guys have really crazy magic. And beings of this nature are referred as being ideas and concepts. Although not very commonly showcased, Doom does know how to throw some fade as he has taken over Daredevil's body and performed about as well as he did. He's overwhelmed the Black Panther to the point Storm had to come save his ass, and he's even beaten the hell out of the Taskmaster, who has copied and mastered the techniques of many god-tier martial artists in the verse, including but not limited to Captain America, Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, and the Wolverine. In fact, defeating Taskmaster is even more impressive when you consider that he is comparable to the Iron Fist, who has trained in a realm beyond everything, likely including space and time, and is even honed in on infinite techniques. It might not be fair to say that Doom is as skilled as them, given his priorities being tied to magic and technology mostly, but to say that he is on a relative level is not far-fetched.
So now we have the core of Doom's power. He is a multiversal master of the mystic and martial arts, but this is only within his own reality. And as of late, it seems the Baron of Iron has taken his nearly immeasurable power to the shore of other dimensions entirely. Take nearly every timeline, every series you can think of. It exists within a larger sea known as the Omniverse. The point where all of these converge is known as the Island, a land formed around the condensed energy embodying all realities. Within the pages of the official comics themselves, as well as statements from Marvel's writers and even the DC website, they all put it blatantly. The same can be said of Star Wars, with lore points from the Rise of Skywalker only being found within the game Fortnite. It's probably the case that this game is canon to your favorite franchise, as funny as that is. Looking deeper, the 0 point is the Omniverse. It encompasses and connects everything. Halo, Metal Gear, Street Fighter, God of War, Star Wars, Elder Scrolls, and DC Comics. All of the heroes from these worlds are represented and have offered their strength to defend the 0 point. However, currently, Doom rules the island and wields unrivaled power above them all. And considering such things such as the mainlined canon Thor comic book dovetailing directly into the events of the game, all the evidence points towards this being the genuine 616 Dr. Doom. See, the gods lording over the island boasted Pandora's box, a chest containing untold dark power. That is, until Doom set his sights on it, opening the box and absorbing its energies. These forces elevated Doom to a level he'd never experienced before. As it stands, even his Beyonder power pales in comparison, with the damage he'd wrought through Pandora's influence being apparent all across his Latveria-inspired island. The Fantastic Four would be the first to fall, followed by the Avengers, then their foes such as Thanos, wielding the universe-annihilating Infinity Gauntlet, and even the power of cosmic channeling Silver Surfer, herald to Galactus, with the World Eater himself too falling before Doom. This version of the Devourer boasts markings and the shade of perhaps his greatest permutations, the very one which had prior invaded the island from its home territory of Earth 616, the same version which began to absorb and crack the 0 point itself. Galactus shook the very Omniverse, nearly every world one could think of, and Doom laid him to waste. To comprehend the depth of this display, as well as the power this grants Doom as of now, let's chart the various realms and levels of strength behind the various multiverses affixed within the 0 point, which Doom, by all measures, seems to have surpassed. In the realm of DC Comics, one of the more impressive concepts detailed therein is hypertime. Initially acting as a replacement for the infinite multiverse from a writer's perspective, hypertime represents innumerable timelines, infinite realities that actually exist above and encompass endless universes. Consider our world and the universe that exists in this second. In the following second, you could consider that a new universe from the perspective of hypertime. What is considered one reality across all of time exists distinct from one another and branches out infinitely with every attosecond as continuity is formed. That is hypertime. Every time the multiverse is destroyed by, say, dark antimatter gods, it was and is preserved in hypertime, existing beyond the infinite multiverse. The being who created this construct is known as the World Forger, who is the one responsible for shaping the multiverse as his name suggests. With his own two hands, he crafted the space-time of the infinite DC cosmology, and yet he, in the very very same Superman who defeated him exist within the Omniverse, within the 0 Point, all under Doom's heel. He exists beyond hypertime, which in and of itself supersedes an infinite multiverse. The DC cosmology, as proven in both the Wildstorm and more recent Outsiders comics, boast 196,833 dimensions, all beyond infinitely greater than one another as they ascend numerically, each layered on top of an infinitely expanding number of universes, which themselves rest in an infinite number of hyper timelines. All of this, again, is merely one aspect to the 0 Point. This is confirmed in the Scott Snyder written DC Comics, by the way, with the official DC website clarifying that this is indeed the Prime Earth DC reality. There are of course greater constructs in DC than even these dimensions, perhaps such as the Platonic realm of the new gods described as archetypal, and the topic of the DC cosmology as a whole would certainly warrant its own video, but safe to say you'd be hard pressed to find such beings within any page of DC Comics that could hope to match the peerless power of Doom as he stands now. While the island, like I mentioned, boasted its own pantheon of Greek gods, lower emanations within the 0 Point have perhaps even greater renown, such as the god of war himself, Kratos. The ash-covered ghost of Sparta stands as one of the island's defenders, with him telling tales of various multiversal tournaments which he'd already taken a part of, so this conflict would be none too far out of the norm for him. Not only does Kratos' home of the Greek realm host powerful primordials, precursors to the Titans which existed before and created their infinite universe, who were in turn undone by the gods as we know them. The likes of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades would lord over realms which are themselves endless pocket dimensions within the greater Greek world, Elysium and Olympus being prime examples of this. As the Greek god of war slew his forefathers, he would make his way to the shore of the Norse world, another distinct yet connected collection of boundless realms, with the world tree acting as a hub between them all, with every strand of the tree transcending time and space. The god of thunder and the world serpent in their epic battle would then splinter this very tree, with Kratos himself proving Thor's superior within his latest outing. Thor, Kratos, the World Serpent, and Yggdrasil itself all rest within the 0 Point, which was then damaged by Galactus, who Dr. Doom defeated. Various pocket universes, many of them endless in scope, neighboring a mighty tree which itself surpasses time and space entirely, with every demigod and deity which exists at this level of power proving little match to Doom the Destroyer. The galaxy from a long time ago and far, far away is very much connected to the island, with various forms of the Chosen One, Negotiator, Redeemer, and Last Skywalker seeing this place as their battleground, or at least copies of them as the island is known to generate. The greatest Sith of all, Darth Sidious, even sent a message of his return throughout various channels echoing across the multiverse. Given this, Pandora's box granted Doom cosmic forces surpassing the Force as a whole. The very energy of that universe, containing dualities within it while also surpassing it. Dark and light, order and chaos, all exist in the Force and have allowed for great levels of devastation. The highest magnitude of such being the Ones, avatars of respective halves of these dualities, as well as order itself, which could have very well passively destroyed the fabric of the Star Wars universe through their mere combat alone. Given the 0 Point's nature, managing to inhabit various beings across multiple points in their lives, it stands to reason that the Chosen One merged with the Force at the apex of his power, surpassing the very embodiment of order, would as well sit below this Pandora-empowered Doom. Maybe even the concept of balance itself has been supplanted. Within the confines of the Dragon World sit 12 macrocosms, each containing up to 3 infinitely sized realms akin to the Greek and Norse worlds, as well as alternate timelines all containing said macrocosms. This world, even in its relative infancy, boasted fighters that could destroy planets, working steadily into the tiers of solar systems, multiple galaxies, and even entire universes. The greatest beings within can erase timelines with ease, timelines housing multiple universe-sized realms, with even far weaker warriors managing to erase constructs of a similar scope with their unchecked strikes in the midst of combat, akin to if the Ones of Mortis were to perform reckless battle. This is before the same divinely empowered martial artist accrued greater strength, dwarfing these meager displays by hundreds of thousands to possibly millions of times over. Now, of all threats to Doom, these contenders may be his greatest. However, given the fact that even the far less remarkable of the Z fighters managed to outclass foes capable of erasing macrocosms, Dr. Victor Warner Von Doom could manage the very same. So with everything said and done, Dr. Doom in his most powerful form puts to shame beings capable of cracking the very Omniverse. Many of the most powerful beings across our storied epics would shudder and fall against the magical potency, hand-to-hand will, and technical ingenious of Marvel's greatest villain. There really are only so many ways to say it. The forerunners of the Halo series, the Hellwalker known as the Doomslayer, even Talos, Dragonborn, Alduin, and every divine or hero known in the Elder Scrolls. If Doom truly stands above beings capable of splintering the zero point, the omniverse of practically all of fiction, his power could be beyond our capacity to comprehend. The web could even expand outward, given how worlds of the Omniverse tend to intersect even outside of the island. The number of foes Doom currently stands above and dimensions he could conquer may be near impossible to quantify. It even seems to be the case that Victor is seeking the full power of the zero point itself. Perhaps he'll go beyond simply cracking it. Maybe he plans to harness its power to become truly one with the Omniverse. Doom is actually growing even more powerful and is building a new suit to fully harness the energies of Pandora's box. So everything up until now actually just scratches the surface. Or maybe he's like weaker than a gold shotgun or like sub John Wick, I don't know. He's definitely not as sneaky as Solid Snake, that's for sure.